This week's spirit practice has to do with altered states of consciousness. So we're going to talk about those altered states, why we go into them and how they benefit us, and more specifically how they benefit our connection with spirit. So we'll start off with just a little review of the most known and recognized or most talked about states of consciousness: beta, alpha, theta, delta, and gamma, although people don't talk about that one too much. So these are frequencies that are measured in cycles per second. They're measured in the brain. Beta is a waking state that we are in. I'm in a beta state right now. Alpha is a deep relaxation state that you're in when you daydream or you meditate. Theta is a state that your brain waves go into when you're sleeping, when you have REM sleep, you're in a theta state. And delta is when your brain waves really slow down and you go into a deep sleep. Or some people who practice transcendental meditation, they're in a delta frequency. And then there's gamma, which is the fastest frequency. It's known for being the frequency that people experience when they have bursts of insight or when they have high levels of information that they're processing. So we have our basic brainwave states. When we are in a meditative state or a shamanic journey state, we're often in an alpha state. Sometimes we move a little bit more towards theta, but mostly we're in the alpha state. And there are many, many, many benefits to being in this state and to shifting your consciousness, doing practices that move you into the alpha state. We have times that we do it consciously and times that we do it unconsciously. And the ability to shift into altered states is quite natural. You really don't have to learn how to daydream. You really don't have to learn how to go to sleep. Your body naturally does it. So you have a proclivity towards this. You have a natural inclination to be able to do this. We get caught up in our head and we do some things up here that make us think that it's not natural. But it is natural. Your body and your brain know how to do these things. And the point of moving into these states is for spiritual exploration, but it's also for calming the nervous system. The reason why we go into such a deep state of sleep at night is because our nerves and cells all regenerate themselves when we're in that deep state of sleep. When we go into an alpha state, meditative state, our nervous system starts to relax itself. And from that place where we hit the relaxation response, or where in our bodies experience the relaxation response, helps us to heal and rejuvenate our cells. It helps the blood to flow and blood vessels to open. It helps everything to move more easily. So the alpha state helps you in that your nervous system is able to relax and rejuvenate itself. Now, another thing that it helps is it helps you to be more open to spirit. When you're in that relaxed state, you are more open to spirit, you're more open to your wisdom, you're more open to listening and receiving information that you don't normally receive when you're in the beta state. So we want to encourage this as much as possible. We want to encourage it because it's good for our nervous system, and we want to encourage it because it's good for connecting with spirit. Both of those things, when they're happening, we live more whole lives, and we have access to information that we really need for ourselves for right now in our lives, in our healing processes, and on the planet. So you can consciously move into an alpha state. You can consciously move into an altered state many ways. Through shamanic drumming, through different types of African drumming or drumming that has repetitive beats to it. You can move into that state through guided meditations. I mean, you've probably listened to guided meditations. If you've been with me for a while, you've probably listened to some of the ones that I've recorded. And you might, every once in a while, when you listen to them, say, wow, that really took me somewhere. That is because you've moved into an alpha state. Guided meditations can do that. Chanting, mantra, saying and singing things over and over again will move you into an altered state because that affects your brain waves, moves your brain waves from beta to alpha. Repetitive movement, like drumming or rattling, swinging on a swing, spinning around, all of that changes your brain waves. It also stops your rational mind from the grip that it has on you and allows you to go into your intuitive mind. And so all of those practices move you, are things that you can do to consciously move into an altered state. Over time, when you practice these a little at a time on a regular basis, you begin to, your brain begins to entrain so that it moves more easily into an altered state. Children have no problem going into imaginary land or daydream land because they do it very frequently. It's normal for them. It's only when that's discouraged or unencouraged or stopped that it becomes something that they have to try to get back to. So the more you do this, the easier it is to shift into this place. And once again, you have the ability, you have memory in your body and your brain for how to do this. You can't not know how to do this. Nobody has told you how to fall asleep, and nobody has told you how to daydream. There's states of consciousness that you fall into. So please don't think you can't do this or you have too much of a logical left brain. That's a load of crap. That's just what you tell yourself because you don't know what else to tell yourself sometimes. So, over time, when you do these practices, it becomes easier to shift into this place. And when you can shift into this place easily, your ability to shift your nervous system and to slow it down completely increases. Your ability to shift from one mode to the next and receive information from spirit, it becomes very natural. You don't have to try anymore. It just happens. In the beginning, you have to try because you have to kind of lay out a practice. But after a while, it just sort of happens. So the goal is to be able to give yourself the opportunity to move into these altered states, to move into the alpha state on a regular basis, not just when you're falling asleep. So how do we do that? Well, we do it with some practice. We do it through drumming. We do it through movement. We do it through chanting. I want you to pick one of these and practice them during your spirit dedicated time during the week. If you take that 10 minutes a day, do this then. If you don't have a practice, make one. Decide that tomorrow at 8 o'clock before you go to work, you're going to do this. And then put on some drumming music. Put on some chanting or do some chanting if you know how to do that. And do it for about 15 minutes. If you're not used to this, your logical brain is going to be telling you, this is dumb, I'm not going to get it, nothing's going to happen. You have to kind of keep going through that to get to the other side. So do it for 15 minutes and then notice how your body feels. Notice what happens to your brain and your body when you do a repetitive movement or listen to a repetitive drumming for 15 minutes. If you want to add to that, you can do a physical practice outside of this that encourages an altered state. Go swing on a swing for 15 minutes. Go dancing or go do some type of repetitive movement for 15 minutes and see where that takes you. I promise you it's going to take you somewhere, and it's going to move you from the beta into the alpha, which is exactly what you want. So choose which one you're going to do. Do it, or tell us you're going to do it over in the group. All right, you've got it. I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes for you. And remind me to tell you about one of my favorite ways to move into an altered state. Okay. I'll see you soon. Have a beautiful day.